Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lady Peace, and in today's video we are going to be learning how to make this simple skirt here. It's a 3 layers skirt and you can either make it long or short, which is what I have here. If you're interested in this, please sit tight and watch till the end. For this particular tutorial, you don't need a lot of fabrics, you just need some leftover fabrics that are long enough to make this skirt. As you can see, I have these 3 beautiful fabrics here from my leftover. These are my leftover fabrics and we are going to be making use of this. And you also need a matching lining. This is the lining I'm going to make use of. So now we are going to start with the lining, which is going to serve as the skeleton for this skirt. I want the full length of this skirt to be 18 inches and I also want my skirt to be 3 layers. So I'm going to divide that 18 inches by 3. If for example you want to have it like 4 layer, you will need to divide your full length by 4. If you want it to be 5, you will need to divide the full length by 5. Now I had to extend my tape by 2 inches here to get the full length of my skirt. Now this 2 inches is going to serve as our waistband. All right, the skirt is going to be having a waistband. So first layer is going to be here, second is going to be in the middle, and the last one will be on the bottom part to complete the length of my skirt. So I hope you guys really understand what I'm trying to say here. So you will need to take away 2 inches for your waistband. So for the length of this black fabric, this lining, I have my round hip my round hip plus extra inches. I added 18 inches to the real measurement of my hip. I also went ahead to join it at some point here to get this length. So you are going to measure your round hip and add extra inches for you to be able to make gathers. Another thing I went ahead to do was to draw a line here, like to have the center of my lining. So first is going to be here. We are going to place the second layer on that white line and the third one is going to be right on the last point. So we are going to first start by cutting out this first one here. So now let's go ahead and cut out the layer for the skirt. It's actually very simple. So when I divide my skirt length by 3, I got 6 inches. So that is what I'm going to make use of. So right here I cut it out using 7 inches, which means I'm going to be folding the end of this my fabric. So that 7 inches will complete it. So this is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to be folding in half inch here and I'll use half inch to join the upper part. So for the length of this my layer, I have my round hip my round hip and I added extra inches to it. So my round hip times 2. I hope you understand, so that you can be able to make gathers. So you need to get your round hip times 2, or you can even add it if you want. You can make it up to like 3 or 4 yards depending on how full you want the flay to be. So the same measurement I have here is also what I have on the left fabrics. I hope you understand. So right now I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine and then run a gathers stitch. After running my gathers stitch, I've also went ahead to fold the rough edges of this part here, and then I run my gathers stitch. So right now the next thing I'm going to do now is to pull on one of the thread. So you're just going to pick one of it this way and then start making your gathers. You want to be careful while you do this so that your thread so that you don't like get stuck on the way. If you have done gathers before, you should understand what I'm trying to say, but if you're a beginner, when you are making gathers, you don't back stitch. All right, you don't back stitch. You have to do a loose stitch so that you can be able to pull it out, just like what I'm doing here. So I'm going to do this to all of the 3 pieces and show you guys what it looks like. On the rough part, make sure you fold in half inch and top stitch on it. So after making my gathers, this is what I have here. I'm going to try and make some adjustments to get the length I'm working with. So first we are going to measure this to be sure if what you have here is the actual length you are working with. So if you measure and it's not correct, feel free to adjust it, just like what I'm doing here. Just go ahead and adjust it this way to get the full length you are working with. Everything I did on this particular fabric, I'm going to repeat same thing on the rest fabric. So the length I'm working with, it's the black, is for the lining. Remember, for my lining I marked my round hip and I added extra 17 inches to it. So that is what I'm working with. So I'll make sure that the gathers I'm making, I should have something or like close to what I have on the lining piece here. I really hope that you guys understand. So I'm going to open it up this way. I'll bring it up this way, and then I'm going to bring my fabric here and first place the first layer on it, just like this. So for the first layer, you're going to place it this way and then take it over to your sewing machine and top stitch on it. Before you top stitch, you're going to leave about 1 inch from the beginning. You're also going to leave 1 inch at the bottom part. You guys are going to understand this by the time I'm done stitching this. After stitching this to my lining, this is what I have here. I have run my straight stitch on it, and this is what it looks like from the inside. So to place the second layer, you're going to now place it on this white line here. This is where I'm going to place it, and please notice how I'm placing it. This is why I said you should leave 1 inch. You can see what I have here. I also left 1 inch on the bottom part here. So you're going to know, I'm going to show you what to do or why I left that 1 inch later. But for now, let's just go ahead and then add the second layer to the black lining, to our lining. So on the second layer, you're also going to leave about 1 inch, just like we did for the first layer. So you're going to now face this up this way. So for the second layer, place it this way, and you're going to now stitch on it, so that by the time you stitch, it's going to now face like this. All right, I hope you understand. So face it this way and run your stitch. So guys, this is what I have here. I also did same thing to the third layer. So this is what I have. All right, so you do same thing to the third layer. So the next thing we are going to do now is, remember I told you guys to leave about 1 inch from the beginning when you are stitching this. So this is why you have to leave that 1 inch here. This is it here. I did same thing to the 3 layers. So you're going to join them together, right sides facing each other this way. All right, remember I also did same thing to this other part. So bring them together this way. Now you're going to first bring the black lining, place them together. All right, so place only the lining together this way, and then go ahead and pin it down. So you're going to take it over to your sewing machine and stitch on it. Make sure you're doing this to only the lining fabric. All right, so pick just the lining this way, pin it down, or better still, take it to your sewing machine and stitch on it. So by the time you are done stitching on this point here, you're now going to turn it over to the right side, and you're going to do same thing to this other fabric. When you are done, you have it looking this way. So for this other fabric, you're going to turn them right side facing each other. Turn them right side facing each other like this, and also stitch it down. All right, when you turn it right side facing each other, you can go ahead and pin it down as well this way. So I'm going to pin down through to this point here, and then go ahead and stitch on this point. I will do same thing to this other side. I'm going to stitch here, and I'm going to also repeat same thing on this part. I'll stitch down this point. So once you're done stitching this, you're going to have it looking like this. So these are the part where I stitch, and this is what it looks like. So this is it here. I repeat same thing on this other part here, and I also did same thing here. So when you turn it over to the back for the lining, this is what it looks like. So now that we are done with this, if you turn it over to the wrong side, it will look very neat. So that is the essence of you running your stitch this way. So for the elastic or for the waistband, I have this Ankara fabric here. When it's folded, it is 2.5 inch, but when it's opened, it is 5 inches. So it has to be 2.5 inch folded. All right, so you are going to place it this way. You want to make sure that you leave about 1/2 inch before you start stitching. So this is it here, and you're going to open it up this way and first stitch on it this way. Just open it up like this and stitch on it round. After stitching on it round, I had to stitch from the inside so that I can be able to make my top stitch on the right side. All right, especially if you're a beginner, so that you can follow up your top stitch and make it neatly. So this is it here. On this part where I had left about 1/2 inch, I still have like excess here. So I have this excess here. So the next thing you're going to do is just to cut away the excess fabric. So it is better for you to have excess here than for you to run out of fabric. So you want to make sure that your elastic band is way longer than your actual waist, like the waist you have currently on the skirt, so that by the time you have any excess, you just need to go ahead and cut it out. So now that I'm done cutting this, the next thing I'm going to do is to fold in 1/2 inch, and I'll use it to cover up the rough edges here, and I'll run my top stitch. All right, so use it to cover up the rough edges. Leave at least 1/2 inch for you to be able to fix in your elastic, and then go ahead to stitch it. All right, so guys, after stitching, this is what it looks like right now. You can see how neat it is. So when you do this from the out part, it will look very neat. So I left this part here for me to be able to like fix in my elastic. For the elastic, I have it long about 30 inches. My round hip is 42. So I took away 12 inches so that by the time I wear this, is going to be firm on my waist. All right, so I'm going to now use my safety pin to insert this elastic inside. So I'm going to do this all round. So when I get to the other point, I'll just tie it up and leave it inside, then close up the part that is open. I'll just go and top stitch that part that is open, and I'll show you guys what I have. So guys, when you are done, you have it looking this way. For the elastic part, you are going to tie it up, or better still, take it to your sewing machine and then top stitch on it. If not, just tie it up this way and leave it inside. Make sure you tie it very firm, or better still, top stitch on it. So I'm going to cover up this part here, and then you are good to go. So this is what it looks like. I hope this video was helpful. If you haven't subscribed, please do well to hit on the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.